Hi, Michael. How you doing? Thank you for submitting your work here. I've got some tips for you and some tricks to really move this into a presentation format. I want you to think about it like this, okay? For presentation next week, your final presentation for this project, think of it like this, okay? I'm your client. I'm the people from WeCare. And I've hired you, Michael Williams, as a designer to design. I've come to you and I've said, I've got this trade show booth and I'd like you to design the trade show. I've got this trade show coming up and I'd like you to try design the trade show booth, the collateral and the 3D giveaway piece. And you say, yeah, sure, no problem. I can do it. And I say, but you have to do it sustainably and you have to prove the sustainability. And you say, okay, so how do we do that? Well, the best thing to do would be prepare this report. Okay. Now, the one thing I think that you're really missing in this is that number one, it's not in presentation format. And number two, you're not showing anything. You're not showing sustainability at all, which means that you're kind of disregarding a good half of the objectives of the final presentation. Now, do you remember the first 3 weeks of class, I kept saying, showing and proving sustainability is just as important to this project as your final design. And I think that's where this being a sustainable project, right now, this is all you have on sustainability. One sentence in the entire presentation. It just said, and it's not even proving sustainability. It just says each sustainable piece is designed from recyclable, reusable materials along with soy ink. That's it. That's all you've said about sustainability. And we've been studying sustainability for 6 weeks. So I think it would be reasonable to say that you're proving sustainability and showing your sustainable materials is definitely falling short in this project. Brainstorming ideas, that's great. Good job there. Sketches look good. So good job including your sketches. Now you have your USB your 3D giveaway, but I want to show you something up here now. Print out your collateral piece and photograph it. Photograph the 3D giveaway in an appropriate setting with a clean background. Did you know you're supposed to build a mock-up of this? You're supposed to build a mock-up and photograph it, not find a pre-done, well, I don't know if that's pre-done or if you did it. If you did the illustration, it's fantastic. It's beautiful. If it's being used, if you found it, if it's a found image, it's supposed to be a mock-up and photograph. So you're going to have to mock that up for your final presentation. Just want to make you aware of that. Then we have 3D giveaway. Okay, your collateral piece, you have to print this out. You have to print it out and photograph it. Right now, it's not telling us anything because it's not complete. Do you see what I'm saying? You have, right here, you have, I think this might be a cover. It's hard to tell. And then I have no idea what this is, Michael, because there's no text in it. It's not finished work. So if you're, this is something you're going to deliver to your client's going to look at this and go, wait a second, you can't give me, you have to let my clients know information. You have to give them information. You can't just put placeholder text in there. That's what I would say if I was a client. I would say, wait, this isn't done. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. And that's the one thing I think that we're really lacking moving into final presentation here. So let me show you an example of where you should consider being. Actually, I'll put it to you like this. And I've used this example. I'm not just showing it to you. I've showed it to all the students in the class because I think it's a really good way to compare your work. I'm sorry, not to compare your work, but to see what is out there in terms of your competition. What are other students turning in? And let's take a look at this. I think this is a particularly good example. And let me show you why. Okay, let's start out here. And this is in presentation format. Okay, this is not. You've got this one paragraph explanation where over this designer's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages pointing to sustainability and showing and proving the materials are sustainable. So in other words, what we have here is presentation format. Here's the title page, introduction. Here's the creative brief explaining and describing exactly what's going on in this project. So that when somebody picks this up, they don't just start looking at it and go, okay, what am I looking at? They're introduced to the project properly and saying, okay, this is what we have. This is what the project is about. 2 pages describing the project. Then we have the ideas, trade show booth, where they're all described, each of the sketches. Then we have the final trade show booth, all labeled. So all this stuff is described. And then the informational collateral piece sketches, all described, including materials. Okay. Then we get to the final trade show booth and the final work. Here we have the final trade show booth, all labeled. Next page, 2 pages full of materials. Okay, so in other words, she's describing the banner, what is being used in the banner, describing all the plastics, all the inks, and she's not just saying they're soy-based inks. She's telling us exactly where everything came from, including the wood, the TV monitor, describing why it's the most sustainable choice, and she does that for every single piece, and then she moves on and does the same thing for the informational collateral. Which, by the way, yours should be photographed like this. See how that's mocked up in photograph? Your USB should be. And then the same thing, too. Now, I want to show you informational collateral. That's the handout. That's the digital presentation. So that's how that guy would look when it's handed out. Okay, and the only reason I'm showing you this, Michael, is because honestly, I think you've worked really hard, and I think you've worked really hard on your materials and a lot of your sketches and stuff that you've worked on throughout the weeks. And I don't want to see it fall short here in our very final stages. So if you could take care of those things, I think that it would really point the right direction in your final presentation. And I really want you to get as you know, the full amount of points on this project because you've worked so hard. But I mean, I think as we can clearly see right now, there's just some deficiencies that need to be addressed. If you have any questions, Michael, please let me know. If you need help, I can certainly assist you. But the main thing is that we really got to get this down into presentation format and really get up into here and follow all of these requirements, so we can get you all the points you deserve coming into this project. Okay, so try to make those changes for week 6 for your final presentation. If you have any questions, I'm right here. Thanks, man.